Number 9, the company reports the following information for its most recent fiscal year before adjustments. If Laser uses the percentage of receivables basis to estimate bad debts, journalize the appropriate year end. Okay, a review of the accounts receivable aging schedule results in 4,800. And since it is based on our receivable, a balance sheet account, so the amount would also represent a balance sheet account. So the 4,800 would already be the adjusted balance of our ADA. Okay, and what is the question? What is the now necessary adjusting entry? Okay, so how is this simpler compared to number 8? The unadjusted balance is already at its normal balance, so nothing tricky here. So we go back in that our goal is to bring the 2,100 balance to the adjusted balance of 4,800. And how much adjustment do we need to bring positive 2,100 to positive 4,800? We just need an adjustment of 2,700. And that's it. That is already the answer. So either 8 or 9 could come out in your exam. What do we have to change in number 9 so that the answer would be letter C? Change the 2,100 to a debit balance. If the 2,100 would be a debit balance, then the answer here should be letter C. Okay. Number 10, what will happen if the amount of budget expense is understated at year end? At year end. Let's go over the choices. Letter A, net income will be understated. So what's the scenario here? Your expenses are understated, particularly what expense? Bad debt expense. Regardless of the kind, definitely your total expense would be understated. If your expenses are understated, what would be its effect on our net income? Will our net income be understated? No, it would be overstated. Okay, and then how about letter B? Net accounts receivable will be overstated. So if our budget's expense is understated, that means our allowance for doubtful accounts will also be understated. Because again, what entry will result in a debit to budget's expense class? The entry increasing your ADA. So if in the first place your budget's expense is understated, that means your ADA would also be understated. If your ADA is understated, since ADA will be deducted from your gross receivable to arrive at your net receivable, what will happen to your net receivable? It will be overstated. So the answer here would be letter D. Why is letter C wrong? Stockholders' equity will be understated because, as we mentioned in letter A, if expenses are understated, net income would be overstated. And when you close net income to retained earnings will also be overstated. And if your retained earnings is overstated, then your stockholders' equity should also be overstated and not understated. Letter D is basically the opposite of what we discussed in arriving at the answer in letter B. Number 11. So I hope you realize because the questions are not really intense in terms of computation. So hopefully that would work to your advantage. What happens if a company fails to record estimated budgets. Let's go over the choices. Letter A, net realizable value of accounts receivable is understated. Because basically the scenario is very similar in number 10 and number 11. In number 10, it's understated, but in number 11, we completely fail to record budget expense. So if you fail to record budget expense, what does that tell you? That your budget expense are understated. So basically the same scenario. So if your budget expense are understated, what will happen to your net realizable value of your receivables, your net receivable? It should be, what was the answer number 10? Net receivable would be overstated. So definitely letter A is wrong. Next, revenues are understated. The failure to record budget expense has nothing to do, has no impact on our revenues. So letter B is incorrect, not because it should be overstated, but because it has no effect. Letter C, gross receivables are understated. That is also incorrect because again, it will not have a direct impact on your gross receivables. But why will your failure to record budget expense affect your net receivable? It's not because it will affect your gross receivables, but because it will affect your allowance for doubtful accounts. So again, letter B and C are wrong, not because they are supposed to be overstated, but because they will not have any effect on these accounts. Obviously, the answer is now letter D. Expenses are understated. Do you catch yourself asking yourself, are these really the kind of questions that we just come out? Okay, the answer is yes. Next, number 12. Question here is which of the following could be true about the balance of the ADA for each company. Okay, Fowler and Stanley have estimated their uncollectible accounts as the end of 20X7 to be 3,500. In addition, both companies use the allowance method for uncollectible accounts. If Stanley Cleaning Services has to record a larger adjusting entry for their allowance for their ADA at the end of 20X7, which of the following could be true? So class, the 3.5, what does this amount represent? Is this the budget expense or is this already the adjusted ADA? What's your understanding of the problem? The 3,500, is it the budget expense or is it the adjusted ADA? Adjusted ADA, okay? So they will have the same ADA class, adjusted ADA. They are both using allowance method. But what's the scenario here? Stanley will record a larger adjusting entry. So the question now is, why will that happen? We'll have to go over the choices. Stanley has a credit balance in allowance in ADA account at the end of 20X7, whereas Fowler Landscaping has a debit balance. Plus, between a company that has a debit balance and another company with a credit balance, which one will have a larger adjusting entry class? The one with a debit balance. Okay, I hope you figure that out based on the discussion of the previous questions. Because you will need more adjustment to bring the negative balance to the positive balance. So if you have a debit balance, we will expect you to have a larger adjustment if we are targeting the same amount of adjusted ADA. Okay, so which one has larger class? It is Stanley. So what will be our expectation? It is Stanley that will have a debit balance and not Fowler. And what did the choice in letter A say? The exact opposite class. The exact opposite. So definitely letter A is not our answer. Let's go to letter B. Stanley has a zero balance in ADA at the end, whereas Fowler has a debit balance. Okay, so which one will be farther from the adjusted balance of 3.5? If you are starting at a negative balance or you're starting at a zero balance class. Which one is farther from positive 3.5? The debit or negative balance or the zero? The debit. So it should, if in this case, it should be Fowler that will have a larger adjustment, but that is not the case. So letter B is not correct. Letter C, Stanley has a debit balance while Fowler has a credit balance. This is exactly what we mentioned. So the answer here would be letter C. Why is letter D wrong, class? Which one is closer to 3.5? One with a credit balance or one with a zero unadjusted balance, class? Which one is closer? Closer. The one with a credit balance or the one with a zero balance? Closer to 3.5. Credit. Okay, so you're closer to 3.5, so you will need a lower adjustment or a smaller adjustment. So in letter D, which one will have a larger adjustment? It would be Fowler because it is at zero. But that is not the scenario in the problem. That's why letter D is not the answer. Next, number 13. When recording budget expense under the allowance method, blank is credited and blank is debited at the end of the accounting period. I think this is the very first thing we discussed. What's the entry to record budgets class? Debit, budgets expense, and credit. Allowance for doubtful accounts. Okay? But why would it be possible for you to get this wrong? Because what is the first blank class? The first blank is for the credit and the second blank is for debit. So you might have answered, what was our entry class? Debit, bad debts, and credit. Allowance. So you might have answered letter B because debit first and credit first. But why will that not be the answer number 13? Because the first blank is for the account to be credited. So the answer here should be letter A. Because aside from avoiding committing mistakes and questions you have already encountered, class, please avoid committing mistakes on these kind of questions, class, wherein you are just being tricked without class. It does not test your knowledge, class. It will not even reward you for your knowledge. You're just being tested on your, what's the term? Your carefulness. Number 14, a customer owed 20,000 on account. Due, let's go to the question. After 2 years, the customer paid the full amount due. How should this transaction be journalized? Based on the question, I think it was written off and later on collected. But very important to read the complete problem because it says here, it was written off as doubtful using the direct write-off method. Okay, so what was the entry when it was written off, class? Since the direct write-off method was used, what must have been the entry? Debit, budget expense, and credit, accounts receivable. So that was your entry, okay? Do not argue with the problem, class. You would say, why did you prepare that entry? The direct write-off method is not allowed. Do not argue with the problem. If the problem tells you that was what was used, then take that into consideration. Do not insist on using the allowance method simply because you know that the direct write-off method is not allowed. The question now is, after 2 years, the customer paid the full amount. How should this transaction be journalized? Go over the choices. Letter A, the amount received should be debited to cash and credit to the accounts receivable. Why is letter A wrong? You should not credit accounts receivable because it will result in double deduction on your receivable. Because when you wrote it off, when you wrote it off, the accounts receivable was already deducted. Okay, so it's correct to debit cash, but it will be wrong to credit accounts receivable. Letter B, the amount should be debited to accounts receivable and credited to allowance for doubtful accounts. Why is letter B wrong? Because it does not reflect the cash collection. Next, letter C, the amount received should be debited to cash, that is correct, and credited to an income statement account such as uncollectible accounts recover. That could be correct, or you could simply just make an adjustment to your retained earnings. Letter D, the amount received should be debited to allowance and credited to accounts receivable. Again, it's wrong to credit your accounts receivable. So the only acceptable choice here is letter C. Number 15, how does the allowance of accounting for bad debt satisfy the expense recognition principle? What method? Allowance. Letter A, by recording the exact amount of uncollectible accounts. Letter A is not correct because under the allowance method, we are using estimates and we are not recording the exact amount. Letter B, by writing off uncollectible accounts at the end of each period. That's not what we do under the allowance method. Letter C, by estimating uncollectible accounts at the end of each period. That is definitely what we are using, what we are doing under the allowance method. And that satisfies the expense recognition principle because you are able to record the expense in the same period that the related sales are also reported. So the answer here would be letter C. Then number 16, the allowance method of accounting for bad debts is an application of which of the following? It would be letter D, the expense recognition principle. Number 17, if the allowance method is used to account for uncollectible accounts, what is bad debt expense? When is bad debts expense debited? Under allowance method, the answer here would be when you set up the provision, and that is why do you set up the provision or you increase the allowance of your ADA? Because you are already estimating the amount of uncollectibles. So the answer here would be letter B. Bravo. Number 18, when using the allowance method, what should the firm do to record budget expense? This should be easy for you, class. The answer would be debit unestimated uncollectibles to bad debts expense and credit them to allowance for doubtful accounts through an adjusting entry at the end of the reporting period. So the answer here would be letter B. Next, number 19. When a sale is made on account, what impact does a sales discount have on the amount of cash that will eventually be received? Discount, obviously, will it increase the amount that you would get? No, since you're giving your customer discount, they will be paying less, which means it decreases the amount that you will receive. So the answer here would be letter A.